everyone. Today I'm going to be featuring this 966 behind me. Nothing wrong with it at all. I'm just going to show you guys what its main job is on the farm, watch it working, and I'm going to give hopefully some interesting details and history on it that I know is to the best of the knowledge that I know on this particular unit. So with that being said, it's about 25 degrees out this morning, breezy. It's got cool here the last few days, so let's get it started up and get going for today. I'd have to check the serial number tag, but I believe this is an earlier 966 first year or second year that they would have came out. I want to say this is a 72 or a 73. Don't remember exactly for sure. I would have to run the serial number tag and look it up. Originally, when this tractor was bought, the TA was out of it, and that was repaired right away before the tractor got put into service here on the farm. That repair I didn't do. That one was sent out to a guy to do it. So far the TA has been working good. It's got over 7,000 hours on it now, or close to it. I think pretty much right at or just over, something like that. Overall the tractor's got basically the same amount of hours here on the farm since we bought it. Most of the time most of those hours are put on running the feed mixer. Alright, let's start the biggest load of the day that I gotta feed. Today's load comes to about 10,750. Just like that. Easy peasy. Now for the big loads in this tractor, I do have to run the mixer in low. Tractor is actually a little bit small for the mixer, runs short of horsepower, but I get away with it by mixing in low, and I dump half the load, shift it to high, and finish cleaning her out. Had the proper amount of time to mix the load, we're going to hop in, dump the load, and One thing on this tractor, when we first got it here about 10 years ago, it used to have a IH factory cab on it. Cab wasn't the easiest to get in and out of. Visibility wasn't as great as this one. It was getting rusted out in places and it was needing attention. Either we had the choice of pulling that cab up, or either we had the choice of fixing that cab up and putting interior and stuff in it because all the foam and everything else was falling out of it, or this cab was available. Our custom operator guy actually had bought himself a 1066 with this cab on it, and he wanted to make that an open station. And I said, well, if we're gonna fix up a cab, go through the work fixing one up, this one was in nicer shape to start with. We did put interior on it, but I just thought, well, instead of fixing up the other one that none of us really care for as much or like as good, I thought, well, pull that cab off and put this cab on. It's easier to get in and out of, better visibility. To me, it's just a handier all-around cab than what the IH cabs were. So anyway, we had swapped that cab out. I put interior in it. I had done all the weather stripping around the doors and windows all the way around. I had put new carpeting in the floor also, just to seal things up. When I put the cab on, I put LED lights on it all the way around too, and then I also had put some mirrors on the side just so I can see past the mixer when I'm backing it in the feed room up to the feed bins or whatever, just so I don't hit the augers or back into a post or something like that. Also, it makes it easier when I'm going down the road. I can watch traffic when I gotta make a left-hand turn. That load is empty. Now we'll go back up to the yard and start filling the next load. Slowly starting to get light out. Sliding around the corner. Is kind of blowing around in all the wrong places today, and I'm trying my best here, but wherever I put my tripod, it's light as feather, the wind just picks it over. I can take the wind. I'm gonna try this. Right now I'm working on the heifer load. It's about a 5,000 pound load. I'm gonna start this up and get it mixing again and dump this load. current engine in the tractor right now too has, I think there's roughly about 1,500 hours on that engine when I overhauled it. If you go back into some of my earlier videos on this channel, you'll see that I had to redo the head gasket since that overhaul. That has been doing good. Been doing good since that repair. Otherwise, the engine's got about 1,500 on, like I said earlier, and seems to run strong. At that time, we did fuel system, repaired that. Starts and runs good always. It's got the, when I had the engine apart, I put in the piston oilers. When we had the fuel system gone through, we had the injection pump turned up a little bit after I got the engine together at that time. I had it on the dyno running break-in period on it, and it was dynoing in at about 120 horsepower. Thing always runs good, handles the mixer really nice, even though it is a little bit small for the mixer. It's a little warmer in the cabin, a little less windy today. Heater always seems to work good in here. Alright, let's get these younger girls fed. Really? Some of the other repairs and upgrades we did on this tractor over the years is the steering arms and kingpin spindles, whichever way you want to call them. Them splines were getting poor. We put on a couple tie rod ends also. Did the trunnions and bushings and stuff for the steering cylinder on the front axle as well. That tightened everything up. When we did the steering arms on it, we went with the taper lock steering arms. They got tapered splines on them instead of straight splines that came factory from IH. With the tapered splines, you can tighten the nut down, wedges them splines tight, and they do not come loose. Where the factory ones, they always ended up with a little bit of play, and over time they just kept coming loose and wearing out the splines more, and you just got sloppy steering. With the taper lock steering arms, they stay tight and they never come loose, and that takes care of a lot of the slop issues on the IH front axles. Well, that concludes what this tractor does about 98% of the time on this farm. Once in a while it does get unhooked to either haul some manure or run the blower, chopper wagons or something like that if we need something in a pinch. But 98% of the time this old girl sits on the mixer and that's its job. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.